Good morning, one and all. Welcome back to Red's Homestead. So it's time for our dogs to enjoy some of the bounty of the chickens. So I'm not a veterinarian to tell anybody how to feed the dogs, but this is what we're going to do for ours after my research. Chicken feet. We saved chicken feet, hearts, and livers from our chickens. Chicken feet is fantastic for the dogs to eat. As long as they are fed raw. Reason being is the bones. I always grew up with my parents saying, do not feed the chicken to the dogs because they can choke on the chicken bones. Well, that's when you cook them. When you cook them, chicken bones will splinter as the dogs crunch down on them. But if you feed them raw or dehydrated, something like that, then the bones will just crumble and the dogs can digest it just fine without a risk of choking. So I have, for my dogs today, chicken feet. Just a couple that I'm gonna give them. Now when it comes to livers and hearts, that's when things get a little different. It gets a little trickier for their diet. So if they're like my dogs, which have kibble, you have to be really careful on how much you feed them, because kibble has every single vitamin and nutrient that they need to survive. So a liver is huge excess of vitamins. You give them too much of that, it's just way too much for their diet. Now if they're on a raw food diet, that's different. You need to give them more of the vitamins because they're not getting it from the kibble. So you might give more livers to your animals. Me, I'm going to give it as a treat once a week. Hearts, I'm going to treat kind of like a dog biscuit. It's not quite as rich as a liver, but it's still potent. Livers, you do run the risk of bacteria when you give them to them raw. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna cook them or not. When you cook them, they become even more potent in vitamins and nutrients, so you have to be even more careful. But it's kind of the trade-off of not risking the bacteria. So let me get my dogs out here. They're gonna get some chicken feet. You unsure? Cora, this one's for you. Like, yeah, I've never had this before. I'm not too sure what this is. Maybe they're just camera shy. I think they just don't know how to eat it. Oh, there you go. Wally's got it. He's slowly figuring it out. If any of you guys know anything different, please let me know in the comments below. This is just what we're going to try out. Now, next time I do want to save gizzards and the necks, because that's going to be an even bigger treat for them to have. Oh yeah, now they're crunching down. They just had to get familiar with what the heck I was giving them. You finished yours quickly. Is that yummy? How about you, Wally? You're done with yours? Yeah, you're done with yours. All right, good dogs. Now that we're done with the chickens and they're on ice, Shannon went ahead and seeded the entire area that they were at, and we actually moved the chickshaw all through the area, so the chickens were over almost pretty much every single spot for at least a day. So we seeded it. Now Shannon's putting down some straw, and hopefully we can get grass growing there now. And yet we're gonna put a fence around it to keep all the roaming chickens from eating all the seeds.
I'm not gonna lie, those birds were super nasty. Ugh. Now, how about that? First day of real planting is done. Tomatoes and peppers are in the ground. So, having kind of an experiment where I originally was planning on doing the peppers. If you remember a few videos back talking about it, I was having them in this raised bed. I have about 12 in there right now, assorted varieties of Romas, Better Boys, just a little bit of everything. But you can see right now how it's got shade, and it has shade starting at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So not a big sun loving area. So what I ended up doing, moved them into this one right here, which gets full sun all the way up until it cuts off half of it at about 6 o'clock at night. So it's about, I think it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock right now, and still have half the bed with a lot of sun exposure. So all right.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You can poop in there, but you can't eat it. Don't eat my lettuce.
The duck.
Ow. 20 minutes per pound plus additional. I don't know.
Actually, I think she's eating the weeds.
Maybe. I'm just going to keep checking the temperature and keep basting it. Because I don't know.
What you doing? You want some scratch cream?
Get some scratch cream. Put it over here. I gotta get stuff for the chicken.
She's moving on.